Hey everyone, Realtor Josh Kepke here with your market update. This is June early edition. I expect that it is going to be quite busy this summer relative to other summer markets we've had in the past. The main change in July and August is that strata properties will be fairly busy. However, it's going to be slower, and you'll see this in the stats. It's slowed down since previous months. So let's get into it. This is your market breakdown of June in Vancouver's Westside, Eastside, and the overall Greater Vancouver real estate board. So we'll start on the Westside, where we had 115 sales in the detached market in June. So that's only down a little bit from May when we had 117 detached sales, and we are still slightly below the 10-year average, which is 126 sales per month. On the listing side, we're still sitting at 773 listings, and that's up from 749 last month, and it's up significantly from the 483 listings we had at the end of June last year. We're slightly above the 10-year average of 764. So when you look at listings and sales, we have 6.7 months of supply, and that is a balanced market, although it's not far off of a buyer's market. And this has changed from 6.4 months of supply at the end of May. So the low for this year was 3.7 months supply in March. So we are headed into a slower market for the detached properties on the west side. Moving on to attached sales for the west side, otherwise known as townhomes. This has 74 sales. That's down from 106 last month, but it is certainly higher than the 48 sales we had during June of 2020. We are above the 10-year average of 63, and we have 270 listings on the market. That's only up by 3 from last month, where we had 267 at the end of the month, and it's up from 232 that we had at the end of June last year. So we have 3.7 months of supply for townhomes at the end of June. That's certainly up a bit from the 2.5 at the end of the previous month. Moving on to apartments, we had 426 sales, and that's down from 513 last month, but it's also higher than 281, which we had last year for the same month, and we're above the 10-year average of 404. So on the supply side, that continues to rise. We're at 1,662 at the end of June. That's up from 1,595 at the end of May, and at the end of January, we had for this year we had 1,283. A year ago in June we had 1,499. The 10-year average is 1,493. So supply side for apartments is higher. Now we look at the number of months of supply, and that's 3.9. So basically 4 months of supply, and that's up from 3.1 last month. Moving on, the total sales for the west side, we are at 615. That's more than 100 down from the previous month, which was 736, and that's down from 760 in April. And then we peaked at 880 sales for the month of March. So markets continued in terms of numbers of sales to decline. We are now on the downside, not price-wise, but in number of transactions. It's decreasing month over month now. And that's what I thought would happen, given that so much demand was pulled forward, with so many sitting at home during the pandemic, bored with nothing to do but look at real estate and Netflix. I think what's happened is, for the first 2 weeks of June, those were busier than I anticipated, and the last 2 weeks were not. So it's more noticeable slowdown over the past month, in the last 2 weeks in particular. Now, moving on to Vancouver on the east side, we have 155 sales in the detached market. That was last year 105, and right now we're sitting at 4.4 months of supply on the east side, which is still a seller's market. There's only something like 600 for sale right now. 3.6 months of supply in May, so still pretty steady. Moving on to townhomes, we had 74 sales. A year ago it was 43. We have 184 on the market for 2.5 months of supply, although in the previous month we only had 2 months of supply for townhomes on the east side. Apartment sales, 221, that's a very good month. A year ago it was 130. We have 413 on the market. That's 1.9 months supply, basically 2. And that's actually gone down from the 2 months of supply we had at the end of May. This is the only category where months of supply has declined. So we had 450 450 total sales on the east side. That's down from 471 last month. In April, we had 554. And then we had the all-time record of 660 sales in East Vancouver during the month of March, which was just a spectacular month. The spring market for East Vancouver this year has been outstanding, unprecedented, but the trend is down. This number of sales is declining. It's exactly the same from March to June in both the west side and the east side, except on the east side for the number of sales, which were just so much more. There were just more sales. So overall, the total board, 1,271 detached sales during the month of June 2021. A year ago was 873. We have 4,581 on the market right now. So that's 3.6 months of supply. We're still in a seller's market for the overall board area for houses. Units sold for townhouses for June was 726. A year ago was 472. We have 1477 on townhouses on the market. That's down. A year ago was 1872. So the supply side for townhomes has gone down in the last year. We have 2 months of supply for the total board. It is the lowest months of supply for townhouses. For apartments, we have 1774 sales. That's up from 1105 a year ago. It's up by 60% from a year ago. The number of listings is almost 4,800. A year ago was 5,200. That's 2.7 months of supply right now. Again, the total board, the trend is lesser number of sales, but prices still holding. I believe the market is still strong. I think momentum is going to carry on through the summer, but it's going to be slower than the previous spring market for sure, which is a historically normal. But again, as we compare previous summer markets, it's still going to be quite busy. I'm not sure what the fall is going to bring. I think the fall is going to be busier at this point, but let's focus on the summer. I think it's going to still be a pretty good summer. So that's your early edition of the June real estate market report. We're looking at June 2021 in review. I'll bring you more insights on that next week. So thanks for watching. I'm Realtor Josh Kepke with McDonald Realty, VancouverRealEstateToday.ca. Be sure to be following me on Instagram at Josh Kepke. Be sure to check out the website, VancouverRealEstateToday.ca. You can check out our Facebook, Vancouver Real Estate Today is the page, and YouTube, also Vancouver Real Estate Today. Basically, Vancouver Real Estate Today everywhere except for Instagram, where it's yours truly. So have a great day. You can always slide into the DMs or reach out to me on my phone at 604-313-9805. If you have any questions about the current market, about your current property that you own and live in, or own and have rented out, or is sitting vacant, always available. So thank you so much as well for everyone who sent me the congratulatory messages for my wedding that happened in mid-June. Now a married man, getting used to this ring on the finger, which is awesome, and here in my new home with my new wife. So have a great day. Thanks for watching if you're still watching now. Bye-bye.